Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. As some of the CoD pros start playing this HaLo Infinite Beta in force, there's been a fair bit of discussion as to which pro players and former pro players might potentially make the return to their roots. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you are new as always, I would greatly appreciate it. I'm really up to the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that. First of all, just wanted to mention real quick, the last couple of weeks you guys may have noticed, I've been away on holiday, lighting's been a bit different, things have been a little bit suspect. I'm back home today, it's been good to have a little bit of break from it all and to not spend more time on social media than I absolutely have to. But yeah, 60 FPS is back in action, the lighting should be back in action as well, and no more echo that's been going on for the last few days. We're back in business, baby. Just love to see it. And well, this firstly from the TacticalRab Academy, 69 people are watching Temp go to sleep, peak off-season content. No idea how he's sleeping with the lights on here, but each to their own, I suppose. This is really what it means to be in the off-season at this point, ladies and gentlemen. This I thought also was quite interesting though, because of course Gunless, a fantastic pro player for a time for Minnesota Rokkr during the initial Modern Warfare season, but at the end of that year didn't really work out for him, got benched off the team, and then didn't get a spot for the last couple of seasons really. Now of course last season he was on the Built by Gamers roster. Seems like that may be continuing into this year, because as Ronan says, over Built by Gamers. Can't wait to watch you prosper, and seems like something might still be going on here between the pair of them going into next year. So maybe the BBG roster that we had last year will somewhat continue, but yeah, definitely big questions as to which of these amateur players, and well now amateur players, maybe some of them former pro players, the likes of Gunless, will get an opportunity in the league, will get an opportunity on the sub bench somewhere, because that's certainly well something that I'm sure a lot of these rosters are considering, as they've got to think what their sub bench is actually going to be for the upcoming year. This also I thought was kind of interesting from the flank grab, because the big question mark right now with the Seattle Surge roster for a lot of people, excluding the whole chemistry thing, which could be an issue, could not be an issue, is the whole Mac melts thing on an SMG. We saw that in Modern Warfare, no doubt, as you can see right here. Like Mac was dominant at times with the MP5 in hand. A lot of people might say though that actually the MP5 was pretty similar to an AR in how it shot. Then again, you can say a very similar thing for the 74U in this title in Cold War. You could beat people across the map with that you couldn't necessarily do in previous titles with SMGs. But the MP5 was probably one of those SMGs in a similar category to that. And yeah, well, this season we are going to be seeing, it seems, Mac on the SMG for the Seattle Surge, the second SMG, of course, to Pred, and therefore, like, Sib's going to be, wow, the shots we're discussing there. And therefore, Sib is going to be the kind of flex on that team. Now, look, I'm pretty sure Sib can play anything, so if Mac has to go to an AR or feels like it's better suited, because this season it seems like the Krug was certainly better suited to Mac than was the 74U, then maybe they can make something like that work. But still a discussion to be had going forwards, no doubt. This also, as Campbell Walker points out to me, a couple of people mentioned this, that, well, Brandon, Dashy, clearly getting out of Texas for the time being. Be right back, Texas. We've seen a lot of things like this lately from some of the Optic guys and some of the Dallas guys as well, implying that they're out and about potentially making some content pieces or doing something like that. So Dashy seems to be on the move. We saw Scump a few days ago, was out of there. We saw ILLey and Shotzzy weren't necessarily streaming, and then we saw Dashy come into play with something like this as well, Be right back, Texas. So maybe something is going on right here. Of course, I imagine the Optic guys are preparing what announcement they want to do, because even if well the team is as we expect, there's still a lot more to be said outside of the fact and how you kind of portray this, right? Because from the fans' perspective, this kind of Optic Envy merger, having been rivals for years, is a really strange one to comprehend and to swallow, I think. So exactly how they explain that certainly has well a lot of bearing on how people are going to perceive it, and also how the players are going to fit into this new lineup, if indeed that is going to be the case. So this also from the colleague, speaking of Dashy, right, I thought was kind of interesting, play-by-play, who lines them up better, Dashy's 5-piece way back in the day, or Accuracy's 1v3A. It's an interesting discussion. This, of course, was the famous Dashy 5-piece way back against Enigma 6 in your winners round 2 here, back in the Black Ops 4 days, and as you can see, like, he gets all 5 kills, all in the feed, pretty disgusting stuff. At the same time, like, looking back on this clip, every single one of them was absolute, so, it's not necessarily, like, the craziest clip of all time, and also it was in what ended up being a pretty blowout hardpoint. This, of course, the other side of things, I mean, was the Accuracy 1v3 ace. This, of course, was an insane clip, and both of them, like, everyone lined up, Accuracy kind of just shot straight, as did Dashy, but, in terms of meaning, like, well, this clip from Accuracy is certainly got to be better, I think, in terms of, what it meant overall. But yeah, I mean, also the fact that it was like an ace clutch as well, right, where he got the first kill onto Envoy, then it became a 1v3, and then he got all these 3 kills. I mean, yeah, sorry to mind you of this one, but the CoD League decided to do it for me. Not really too much I can do about that. So this is what Simp says yesterday, watching everyone enjoy the HaLo beta since I signed up too late. I'm sure Simp will be pretty disgusting on this, but someone who certainly is disgusting on it is, of course, Empire Shotzzy. Won the World Championship on this game. I mean, not this particular title, HaLo Infinite, but HaLo 5 or whatever, back in 2018 now. And I mean, this clip is just ridiculous. I don't know too much about Halo. I haven't watched all that much of it, but I know like smooth gameplay when I see it, and this is certainly up there from Shotzzy. This guy's absolutely outrageous, and in any single game he seems to play. So yeah, really excited to watch this guy play this, but at the same time there are of course other pro players, and to be honest I think maybe a lot of pro players right now in Halo are looking at this from Shotzzy and thinking, wow, I'm pretty happy that he's playing Call of Duty and is not a Halo pro like going forward into Infinite, because if he was, I think it would be pretty disgusting, and he could probably hop in and become the best player in the world straight away once again. But of course, well, who knows what Shotzzy's going to do in the future. If the next couple of titles aren't really particularly favourable for him, if Optic Texas doesn't really work out, does he go back to Halo at some point? Obviously, he's still so young in his career, he could certainly do it, but other players may be considering something relatively similar. Of course, this from Frosty as well, who was a, former Halo professional for a very long time, then he came to Call of Duty for a couple of seasons. Now he seems to be going back to playing Halo for Sentinels, and he has a couple of clips come out on the beta right here as well. But there's many players really, kind of veteran Call of Duty professionals, for example, that maybe can't compete right now in the present landscape of the league, that might consider this sort of move. We saw with Valorant, like many players that were kind of like considered washed right from North American Counter-Strike, the likes of Huke. You can look at guys like Nitro, for example, not necessarily like washed in Nitro's case, but you know, players that pass their best and then go to Valorant and really kick things off right. Maybe the game suits them a little bit better, and all of a sudden they actually become really top tier professionals and start winning again. Now it's possible that could happen in Call of Duty, or at least in console esports as well here, or like controller playing esports, no longer on console of course, but you know, with people from Call of Duty formerly going back to Halo and actually doing really good things. It's certainly not out of the realms of possibility. This I thought the Maniac said, of course, former Halo pro as well, on Optic side now, at someone who thinks they're going pro in Infinite, but are probably going to rage quit after 2 months after getting clapped into a coma by Big Dog Maniac. And Hitch, well, that's Formal in the replies, and he hits the sad face right here. So this is kind of the discussion, right? Of course, Formal retired from Call of Duty professional. It seems pretty unlikely that he would ever return to that point, but and still, he wants some time away from competing and all that type of stuff. But still, who knows? Like, Formal did play Halo for quite a while before he came to Call of Duty. Had some great success over there. There's even a clip that was doing the rounds lately on the YouTube algorithm, which is like, you know, like Formal destroys Ninja's career or something in Halo, where he was absolutely world star anyway back in the day, and you know, stuff like that's pretty entertaining. And Formal could make, you know, make the return. Of course, right now he's doing content and stuff, but maybe Halo's like an easier way in back into competition at some point than it would be to get back into the Call of Duty League, which obviously would be a bit of a challenge to compete anyway if you're not putting in the crazy hours that all these young and up-and-coming guys are. And of course, Halo's still going to be competitive, but it might be a good option for some of these guys. And of course, we know that Formal's been playing a lot of Valorant, right? That's kind of been his thing as of late on stream. That tends to be what he's playing right now, not playing the Halo beta or anything. So maybe it's not going to happen, and well, it seems pretty unlikely for it to happen. But who knows? It's not out of the realms of possibility, especially looking at the history right here. This I thought was kind of interesting that I saw from the Halo montage, and way back in the day, a dual targe on Halo 3 with Lethan and Formal when they were playing the game way back in the day. And I mean, yeah, crazy game this was. Never really did the Halo thing because I had a PS3 when I was younger rather than an Xbox, but I'm sure many of you guys played Halo in, I guess, what people consider to be the good old days back in, I suppose, like Halo 3, Halo 2, when Formal and the like were competing. But as you can see right here, I mean, this is like the history really that he had in Halo for a time. So 2013, 2014, did some pretty successful things really in a lot of these tournaments, came into Halo and immediately was you know, becoming a pretty big name, to be honest, in the scene. Then in kind of late 2013, 2014, moves over to Call of Duty and immediately hits the ground running in Call of Duty Ghost. And by the time of like Gfinity 3 in London, Formal was already considered to be like one of the very best players in the entire game in Ghost. Then of course he did a lot of team hopping right here, from Team Caliber to FaZe back to Envy, and then of course to the Optic Dynasty for 3 years. And since then things are kind of kicked off with Luminosity, then Huntsman, then Optic Chicago, and of course well, now since August 2021 he's obviously retired from professional play. This is what he tweeted out about the time, and the fact that yeah, it was just getting too much on him, like he didn't really have the drive to compete anymore at this particularly high level, and what it takes really to succeed and be the best player in the world in Call of Duty. Maybe Halo competitive with some of the other players, like former Halo players, the likes of Shotzzy, being in Call of Duty right now, could be an option to, you know, dive into and have a good time in competitive play, and at least maybe play it on like a casual competitive basis, where Formal's maybe playing some tourneys, not really with the intention to be the best team in the game and win things, but that could be a fun way to kind of keep that competitive spirit alive, and something I wouldn't necessarily completely rule out. This I thought was kind of a throwback here from the flank. Retweet if you miss, hashtag TTB. Duo of the year during Modern Warfare goes to these two. Of course, well, Scump is continuing on this year, but a Formal not necessarily the case as we know. And this also from aBeZy, right? Because recently Halo and HCS did the whole top 25 players thing of all time, and yeah, like aBeZy, I'm pretty sure just missed out on it, but you know, still, like aBeZy was a very solid player in Halo for a number of years before he came to Call of Duty. Halo reached MVP, says aBeZy way back in the day from MLG Dallas, but yeah, maybe aBeZy goes back and plays some of these fun tourneys as well with Formula something. It would be pretty interesting to see how these pro players manage going back. There is also this, though, that I remember that Frosty tweeted out a while ago, because there was a fair bit of talk really from HCS, because, of course, in Call of Duty, we just play on a controller, right? Like, keyboard and mouse is not allowed. I'm pretty sure Halo, when the league is going to launch, is going to allow keyboard and mouse and controller play as well. And as he says right here, like, these guys don't even care about competitive, just choosing to break the competitive integrity off the bat. I don't know if this has changed since then, but I do know this is a big concern. It'll be a massive concern in CoD, and maybe it's something that will prevent some of these other guys going back to that game. But maybe someone like Formal might decide to actually go back and play on keyboard and mouse anyway, just because just because he's been killing it in Valorant, I suppose, as of late. This I thought I'd mention real quick just before we finish out the video. Breaking Point's top 20 challenges players of Modern Warfare. In fact, 10 of them managed to make their way into the Pro League this year. Hydra, Pred, Afro, Standy, Fire, Sib, DiamondCon, FeLo, and Inside, and Parasite, of course, having over last season in Cold War, and also going into this year, so not too bad. Definitely wonder how this will look. We're going to do the 20 challenges of Cold War and see how that's going to work into 2022, and what the scene looks like there from beyond. And for those of you watching on mobile, give this one a go. Your phone battery percentage, your team's chance, a big top 3 here in Call of Duty Vanguard. But very much intrigued to get your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. Really upset the YouTube icon on like you enjoyed this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well, and I'll grow the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you much as always, take care, and I will see you next time.